I think you've probably heard it said that God provides, but I just want to show you with all these stories that God really does provide for each and every need, whether it's big or small. He does it all. So I moved to Japan as a missionary, and I accidentally didn't take enough money with me the first time that I went. And so I had to worry about things and would I buy and would I not, and also did I have enough money to do it at all. And one of the first things I realized is that I'm going to need a cell phone. I realized that people in Japan don't speak a lot of English, and I didn't speak any Japanese. And so when God told me I was going to be traveling around Japan, I was like, oh, then I need a cell phone. But I also realized that I didn't have enough money to buy a cell phone. And I thought back to the story that a gentleman who had come to our house had shared. So he was a missionary from Ethiopia, and he was at our house, and he told us about his cell phone. And he said that when he first came to America, somebody gave him a cell phone and said that they'd pay for it for an entire year. And this is back when if you called long distance, even in the country, you had to pay extra roaming charges. And he was always on the phone using his phone calling long distance without a care in the world. And I remember just thinking at that time, oh, that's nice, how God provides for people who are serving him. And I didn't think much of it. I was in residency. I was going to become a rich doctor, and didn't really have a thought about money at all. And now here I am. I'm a missionary. I've quit my job, and I'm in Japan. And so without enough money. And so I remember just telling God, I was like, God, I'm a missionary now, and you gave him a cell phone, so I want you to give me a cell phone. And I said, God, I want someone to hand me a cell phone, and I'd like the service paid for a year as well, and if possible for the entire time that I'm there. So you wouldn't believe it, somebody handed me a cell phone. And then I got the money to activate it, and the entire 6 years I was in Japan, God paid for my cell phone. Now, at one point, the cell phone started to die, and I realized that I needed to get another one, and it was going to cost me another couple of $100s. And at this point, I was willing to do it, though, it's always nicer not to have to do it. But I decided, okay, I'm going to go to the store, and I'm going to try to buy myself a cell phone that will work better, because this one isn't working that well, and it's about to be too outdated to even work anymore. And I was visiting some friends and just helping them out with their wedding planning and stuff, and one of them looked at my phone and said, oh, Sapna, that's a really old phone. It's not going to work very much longer. Do you need another phone? Because we have an extra one. And so I got a new phone. God is good. But before even that happened, God, just showed me that he does the little things as well as the big. And so I had this sweater that I just loved. It was black, and it had a little tie in the front, and that's how it stayed together. And I used to wear it all the time. And I started to notice that one of the ties was getting a little frayed and coming undone, and it needed to be sewed. But here I am in Japan. I'm living at this church, and I don't want to bother the people there by asking them for a needle and thread or anything like that. And so I'm just like, okay, maybe it'll hold out for the 3 months that I'm here, and then after that, I can just sew it up when I'm in Seattle. But I did look in all the drawers in my room, and what I ended up finding was there just happened to be this black spool, and I looked all over to see, maybe there's a needle in there too, but there wasn't. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just be really careful, and hopefully I won't it won't come apart. Anyways, after a couple of weeks, it was at its end, and I was like, okay, I was in my room, and I was like, God, wouldn't it be really cool if there was just a needle stuck in the spool that I didn't see last time, and then I could sew up my sweater. And so I pull out the spool again, and I look real carefully, and stuck way where I didn't, I guess, see it last time, where God just put it there for me, was the needle. And so I was able to sew my sweater and use it for years on, and until I got tired of wearing it. So God is good. Another time, so when I lived in America, I didn't actually own a winter jacket. I would just run from the car to wherever I was going. And I had just bought a jacket a few months before I moved to Japan. But in Japan, I didn't have a car. I would walk to the train station. From the train station, it'd be about a 15-20 minute walk, sometimes with a whole bunch of luggage. That would slow me down. And I soon realized, you know what? I need more than a winter jacket. It snows here. It's really cold here. I need a scarf to keep me warm. But I also realized when I looked at my budget, I didn't really have a lot of money for that. I didn't have money for that. I was already in the red. But I was like, this is a necessity, so I'm going to buy one. So I thought that at night, and I go to sleep, and I went to sleep. And when I woke up in the morning, hanging from my door was a scarf from Gap. So God had told somebody to buy me a scarf, and they put it outside my door. And then I also realized after a while with all the snow that I need a hat. And again, I was thinking about finances, but I was thinking I do need a hat. And one day, even though I was thinking about finances, I was taking somebody out for ice cream. And it's just something I like to do, is take people out. And when I bought them their ice cream, there was a special promotion going on in the Baskin Robbins, and they're like, this is a free hat for you. And so I had my hat. Another time I was in Japan, and I was going to be traveling to meet a bunch of different people for the day. We were going to be on one train after another, and it was snowing. And I woke up with a cold, but I had a fever, and I knew I was going to be walking in the snow with this fever. And I was afraid to tell the person taking me, the pastor, because I was afraid she'd say, oh, well, you can't go if you're sick. So I didn't tell her, and I didn't have any medicine on me. And so I was like, okay, I could do this, I'll grit my teeth and do it, and it'll work. But I was just thinking, in Japan, I'd learned that there's these warmer things that you can stick on you, and then they make you warm. And I was just thinking, wouldn't it be so great if we used those before we went out? And so we had them on while we were traveling. And right before we leave, she's like, hey, Sapna, do you want one of these warmers? And so I had my warmer, and I was able to stay warm the whole day. So these are all just little things. There's been other times where I've been like, I need tissue, and that day, outside the train station, they're giving free tissue away. Or since I travel so much, I realized that the big towel I had took up too much space in my little suitcase. So I was like, I need one of those small Japanese towels. And so somebody gave me a small Japanese towel. And then, just ridiculous things even. When I was in Japan, there were some kids playing with water guns, and I just remember thinking, oh, it'd be fun to have a water gun. But here I am, I'm like 30 years old at that time, and I was like, I don't think so. But when I came back to Seattle, somebody came to visit me, and guess what? He brought me 2 water guns, and he had no idea that I'd even been thinking about water guns. And so God really, really loves us, and he wants to provide the big things, the small things, everything. So I hope you're just encouraged, and you know that you can ask God for anything and everything, and he's never too busy to answer, and he always cares.